Hello, this is Peggy from the Flower Nook, or actually this is Peggy inside her house. We're all still inside her house, so I hope that you're safe, feeling good. And today we're doing some more of our interviews with some of our wonderful artisans at the Flower Nook, and today we're going to feature Bill Andrews and his wood mastery. So in looking just a little and just reminding each person, the Flower Nook, as the name suggests, we are a full-service floral store, and we love to create artistic and unique designs for every event, birthday, anniversary, you name it, happy to do it. Wayne and I believe that when you receive flowers, either receive or actually purchase them for somebody else, and it really gives a positive vibe and immediately boosts your happiness. It's a great way to keep the stressed out, and we have certainly noticed that in the past month too. In addition to having flowers, one thing that we're very proud of is that we have an artisan gallery in the front of our store where we've had up to over 35 people at one time, and in the past several years we've showcased 200 plus regional artists, and it's always regional. We do support our own. So in looking at that, the product that we're going to be showcasing today is wood. Wood is one of those handcrafts that have been honored throughout time. It's not a new process, but it is getting more and more rare to get an artisan that really loves the wood and enjoys it and takes the time to do something like this instead of just the wood painted signs. So the wood arts represent a connection between man and nature. And it could be said that the humans have been starting to make tools. They have really been working on wood. So interesting thing to me is that when you're looking at one of these setups that we have here in the store, and when people come in, if the consumer comes in, there's always kind of a tie about what's important here. Is it important to look at the construction? Is it important to look at the coloring, the visual, almost like a photograph? Or is it important to touch it? Because I'm going to tell you something. This wood, when you run your hand over it, it's like a piece of glass. It really is worth the touch and feel with the process. So I'm going to introduce you to Bill. And Bill, you have been part of the Flower Nook for at least 2 years. I've kind of forgotten kind of how that started. And if you've been to the Flower Nook on First Friday, you have met Bill. He's always stands, he's great to support us, and he comes and stands by his product. Very happy to answer questions for anything you might have about his product. So Bill, I want you to introduce yourself and tell me how did this woodworking talent come about?
Thank you, Peggy. Yes, I've probably been interested in woodworking for 40 some years, and it's just a fun hobby for me. I like dealing with making things out of wood and then ending up with a nice looking product that somebody can use for a long time.
So how long would you say you've been dabbling in wood?
Oh, probably more than 40 years, actually.
Oh, wow.
Off and on. I had quite a bit of time there when we moved. I didn't have my shop set up, so I had kind of a downtime for maybe 10 years before I got things going again.
So I know now you can get on the YouTubes of various nature and get a little touch and feel like how to do something. But 40 years ago, was learning wood crafting a mentorship with you and somebody else, or was it just a trial and error? Or
yeah, it was mostly trial and error. You try to make things, sometimes they worked out and sometimes it didn't, so you had to try something else. But yes, there was no help with YouTube that makes things
yeah, that was
so much better.
Yeah, you should be doing the YouTube now because people are wanting to know. We asked Bill, as with most artists, to give us a little peek inside their studio, because I think most of our valued customers really always want to know how the process takes place. And so this is a snippet, and I'm going to let Bill tell me where is your shop?
Okay, yeah, it's in my garage. We have probably a 2.5 car garage, and so this one section over there that's my workbench and a lot of parts that you used in that, and tools there along that work.
You must be a highly organized, neat person, because I'm looking at all the little cubbies and cubicles and drawers and dressers, and I know this is just one wall, but I'm assuming you have to be that organized, or else you're going to be losing parts and pieces, a lot of small things here in this section.
That's true.
Yeah, very interesting. So we've got another shot here, and this is of you actually doing some work with some equipment. So tell us more.
So yeah, you can see the garage doors. Those are behind the wall that you just saw that had all the cabinets. And so when I'm not working there, I push the tools back a little bit, and that we can put the vehicles in there. But everything's on wheels, so it moves around inside the shop, because it's not a real big area, but it's big enough to make small things. I make only just the smaller type projects. But,
so what are we seeing here? What kind of equipment is this that we're seeing?
Okay, let's see. The one on the right there is the dovetail jig that makes those special dovetail corners in the boxes. And the one on my left is a miter saw, and I'm cutting some 45-degree corners to make a different type of a box that has spline corners. And I haven't brought any of those down yet. That's just a new way to make them that I've just started doing kind of here. The last couple months I've been stuck.
And I noticed that you have the hearing covered up. Is it a noisy process?
Yes, most of that stuff's pretty loud. Yeah, you wear a hearing protection, and sometimes then I wear a dust mask too if I'm doing sanding. So you're kind of covered up to protect yourself.
Well, it looks like quite an interesting process. So Bill sent us a picture of some of his wood, and on the right hand is actually a box, the front of a box, or one of the side panels of the box. So I wanted you to see the texture and the layering, kind of a zebra effect, so to speak, in the bottom of this box. So it interested me how you get that pattern. I look over here at this wood, and I do not see anything with stripe on it, but yet I see over here in the box. So is wood something you purchase piece by piece, or are you getting, a bulk order at one time, or?
Usually it's just a piece at a time, like the one on the right there. That is a zebra wood, and it comes like that in the tree. When they mill it, it looks just like that. It's got those stripes in it, and so they call it zebra wood, and it does look like a zebra then.
Okay.
But otherwise, I usually I'll go to some of the little lumber yards. Sometimes I have to go to like Schmucker's down by Hutchinson, has a lot of more of the exotic woods, and I'll buy a couple boards at a time, and then to mix in with I have in the most I have is maple and cherry and walnut and oak, and I mix some of the exotic hardwoods in with those then.
So is it like, I have a person who's a knitter, and I know that she buys yarn and then decides later on what to make out of it. Is that kind of the same with this?
Pretty much. When I go to the lumber yards, and I'll look at the wood and pick out a pretty piece that I like the grain in, or the way it looks, and then I'll take it home and plan to make something with it.
Okay. Well, is there a wood that you prefer to work with as far as what you're doing?
I think probably my favorite wood is oak, just because it's so pretty when you put a little stain on it and put the finish on it. It just really jumps out at you. Yeah. So, and it's maybe one of the little easier to work with. So I'd have to say oak is my favorite one.
And is there wood that you have yet to work with? I mean, I know there's a lot of different varieties.
There are a lot of exotic hardwoods, and so yeah, there's an awful lot that I haven't worked with. Some of them are very expensive and they're hard to come by now. Most of them they limit the harvest of that wood in the forests, so they try to grow it back as fast as they use it. So So they try to limit the amount that they cut then.
Well, I love looking at this wood picture. It's just like, and it's also organized. Once again, it's a very organized mess is what Wayne likes to call art creation. So here's one of the boxes that Bill makes, and I'm going to put him on the spot because he didn't know what photos I grabbed. This is one of my favorite. So what type of wood are we looking at here?
Okay, that's made out of 1, 2, 3, looks like 4 type. We have oak, which is the main body. The most of it is oak. And then the real light is maple. And then the dark stripe and the squares are walnut, and the other part of that matches up with the walnut is cherry.
It's beautiful. It's such a beautiful box. Really a great pattern with it. So in looking at other patterns, and as we move through interviewing with Bill, you know, Bill has, besides just doing the solid wood on the top, Bill has created several patterns on the top of his wood. This one with the blonde wood, I thought would make a great tattoo. So tell me about how do you get your patterns, and how does this procedure work to get this on here?
Well, I usually look through Google Images to try to get ideas and get basic ideas from that. Then I trace it on with the graphite paper. We'll put the pattern on the wood and then freehand wood burn it with a wood burner.
So how long does something like this take you to construct, I mean, the pattern?
It takes quite a while, because if you make a mistake, you can't erase it.
Oh yeah, oh gosh, I never even thought about that.
It's burned in. So it's pretty tedious. I take quite a few breaks when I'm doing that. It's pretty tedious.
Well, here are a couple more patterns that Bill has done. And I do want to remind you before we ask Bill to say something about this, you know, to my valued customers, Bill is always very happy to entertain a custom made. If you have a certain design or style, and you can kind of help him fine tune your design, he can certainly look at it and say if it's doable or not. So here's 2 more patterns. And is this one on the, let's see, it's on my left. Is there kind of like a lotus blossom? Is there a certain name for it, or?
No, that was just kind of a random Zentangle type pattern I thought was interesting. And I thought so, but no, it's just a random Zentangle picture there.
Yeah, very nice. I love them both. So in looking at the tops, and now we're going to switch and look at actual construction of the thing that you will notice if you're looking at Bill's boxes, that there's not a presence of too many nails, especially on the side. It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle when put together. So what is that process called?
Okay, yeah, these have what you call the through dovetail joints, and those are cut with a router, and then they're glued together. There's no nails or screws in those joints. It's just glue. They fit very tightly to begin with, and then you glue them together. It makes a very strong joint.
Very interesting. I want to show you a couple more of those inside the box techniques, and while you're looking, you know, think about the different types of wood that he's got showing on here with the stripes. Now, besides, Bill always puts the sections. Well, I know we've had, you know, you have boxes that just have no section, but most of them have little sections that you can put stuff in. And I know you can't see it here, so I want to point out that the sections, the bottom of the box has got some kind of material. Makes it a very elegant gift, and it makes it very safe for you to put jewelry in instead of getting your stuff all scuffed up. So is that, what kind of material is that down there?
Actually, that's a heavy type felt, and my wife gets that at the fabric store, and buys it by the yard, and then we cut it up, and it's.
So you have to put the material down, and then you do your sections.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Otherwise, you have to cut a lot of little squares.
It'd be a lot of little things, a lot of little process back and forth. Well, it makes it a very elegant look with it. So besides the sections, Bill has come up with this special little designer tray that you can put in there. You can see the different varieties here of the trays, and I think it's wonderful for like earrings and jewelry, like your special ring. You don't just throw it in the rest of that stuff. This kind of gives it a little more cushion, makes it a little safer, a little nicer feel. Bill has allowed us to mix and match, so we lay them out, and if you want the clover over here with this box, you can do some switching on it. It makes it kind of fun there. So this is kind of the same technique. You're cutting out and you're putting material.
Right.
Okay. And then we have a little team spirit one up here. So in addition to what we have shown you, something that I've been really impressed with, and a lot of people stop and look, is Bill has made these wooden cremation tributes. And cremation is certainly one of the more popular ways for people to honor their loved ones and save ashes now. And obviously this is a different technique, or it's different style. So can you give us some conversation about this?
Okay, now this one, that design there, that's a mandala with the sun and the moon and the stars. That actually, the size of that would hold two individuals' ashes. So it would, that size would be big enough to hold ashes for two people. And the bottoms come off there with screws so that you can take the bottom off and the ashes in and put the screws back on, and it is held tightly then.
So what people, when you have a urn or a box tribute, are the ashes still in a container inside the box?
Well, that's the way we've gotten them when we've done it with our folks, and we got the ashes. They come in a little plastic bag, essentially. So, and then you can put that in there.
We have had a lot of conversation about the urns and how it works, and people have said, does the lid lift off? And I'm like, no, it's on the bottom, and people always want to pick it up and touch it. And you've used that same technique where we don't see the nails. It's
right. That's all dovetail joints there. Yes.
Okay. Well, we have to look at this, our team spirit, because we know in Kansas we've got a pretty good team spirit, and Jayhawks versus the purple and the red, white, and blue. So here Bill has made a different product instead of boxes. He's made some fun clocks in the mascots themselves. And is that one of your first things you've done out of this with the clocks in them?
Yes, and I've made a few of them for my grandkids.
Oh yeah.
Mainly that's where they've gone. Yeah, so I had a couple extra I had cut out, and I thought I'd bring them down to you and see if anybody was interested in those.
Very fun, and like I say, for the team person. So I want to point out, because we've been talking about flowers and art, at the Flower Nook and artisans, that we've been lucky to have a couple occasions where we have put flowers inside the box on request and sent them out for anniversaries or various things. And we put a liner in there so it doesn't ruin the boxes. And when you have a box that has a little compartments, as some of these boxes do, we've had to put some little liners and try to go through. So it's been kind of a challenge for us too. Once again, if that's something you're wanting to do, we pick out the box first, depending on where you're going to go, and then we add the flowers and cost it, up that process was there. So it's been a while since I got to see you, Bill, since this kind of interesting new world we're into. Are you you're still working on stuff while you're home, or?
Yes, in fact, the last few weeks I've made half a dozen new boxes with a new technique, a little bit different looks. Tried some new design with them, and so
I don't know if my artisan friends know how lucky they are to have something that they can absorb themselves in, because my office worker friends, they are just they don't want to clean the closet, they don't want to bake, but their stuff is at the office. Their love is at the office, and so it's been great. My artist friends are all just, I can't wait to get everybody back in the store and see new products, because it sounds like we've got several things just going to kind of explode, and that will be really a wonderful, wonderful new way to show people. So I want to end by saying, first of all, thank you, Bill. You've taken your time, showed us a very fun look inside your house and more about your process. If you, my valued customer, would like to see more or up close of Bill's boxes, all you gotta do is call. We are happy to FaceTime with you. We can do a live feed. We can put pictures, you know, and send them to you that way. In lieu of not coming in the store. We would love you to come in the store, but if you live someplace too far or right now can't get in, don't let that stop you from thinking about, you know, this being a great artisan gift, you know, to give to somebody, or, you know, give it to yourself. So we really appreciate Bill. Really love this product. I'm very happy to have it. And we appreciate you, the community, for supporting the Flower Nook and letting the Flower Nook, you know, support the artisan. So hope to see you soon, and thank you for watching. Okay. Just a minute. Okay, I think I've stopped the recording.
All right.
But I'm going to hang up, and then I'm going to come back in, so you come right back in too, okay?
Okay, I can do it. Oh, shit.